Hello and welcome to British English with me, Alexandre. Again, we're going to be talking about another fundamental unit of grammar in English. We're talking today about Unit 13 of a series about grammar. You can subscribe to the channel and follow all of those units where we're gonna be talking about all the patterns that you should understand in terms of grammar. That is, A from A to Z, things that you should learn to understand British grammar. It's about 100 lessons from that book. This is, I have to emphasize, were based on that book, this Advanced Grammar in Use from Cambridge University by Martin Hewins, so you can understand British grammar, so you can understand English. You might be able to read a text, you might be able to understand English reporters and stuff like that. It's really important to understand the grammar so you can understand the structures of a text, etc. Okay, but before we get started, please, I'd like to invite you to share the content, to subscribe to the channel so we can improve that channel and show English learners, English students all over the world that yes, it is possible to improve your vocabulary to thousands and thousands of words. I've learned more than 6,000 of words by studying like that. By reading out loud, it gets easier to remember, so you can bring your vocabulary to thousands of words and improve the words and sentences, phrasal verbs, all the things that you've already studied. Okay, let's get started. Today we're going to be talking about other ways of talking about the future. Okay, let's go now through section A. Some phrases are commonly used to refer to actions or events in the future with a meaning similar to be about to plus infinitive. We can use be on the verge of, or be on the brink of, or be on the point of, plus always ing if it's a verb or a noun after those expressions to say that something will happen soon. For example, people are on the verge of starvation. Starvation is a noun. People are on the verge of starvation as the drought continues. Another example, scientists are on the brink of making major advances in the fight against AIDS. Notice that if we use a verb after those expressions, it gets in its ing form of making. Scientists are on the brink of making major advances in the fight against AIDS. Another example, exhausted mentally and physically. She was on the point of collapse. Be on the brink of, that expression usually refers to something important, exciting, or very bad. We use be due to plus infinitive to say that something is expected to happen at a particular time. Be sure to plus infinitive or be bound to plus infinitive to say that something is likely or certain to happen. Note the difference. The first is for something that is expected to happen at a particular time, and the second to say that something is likely or certain to happen. And you also be set to plus infinitive to say that something is ready to happen. Be set to plus infinitive. For example, the company's chief executive is due to retire next year, but following today's announcement of further losses, she is sure to be asked to leave sooner. So, initially, she was due to retire. It was something that was expected to happen at a particular time. But following today's announcement of further losses, that is, due to those losses, she is sure to be asked to leave sooner, or we might put here, she's bound to be asked to leave sooner, because it's a certain situation now. Another example, will there be somewhere to get a coffee at the station? Oh, yes, there's bound to be. That means there's. Oh, yes, there's sure to be. That's certain. That's likely that it's gonna happen. Another example, a new film is set to be a great success. So the last expression, to be set to plus infinitive, means to say that something is ready to happen. A new film is set to be a great success. Okay, let's continue. Now that we use it due to plus noun to give the reason for something, not to talk about the future, e.g., due to fog, all flights from the airport have been cancelled. This is the reason, right, for the airports to have been cancelled. Okay, let's go now through section B of that lesson. We use some verbs with a to infinitive to talk about intentions. For example, we guarantee to refund your money if you're dissatisfied with the computer. The present simple plus to infinitive or present continuous plus to infinitive can be used with the verbs marked asterisk below to talk about intentions. For example, I aim to get to Bangkok by the end of June. This is the present simple plus to infinitive. I aim to get to Bangkok by the end of June. Or in the present continuous plus infinitive, I'm aiming to get to Bangkok by the end of June. Or I was aiming to get is also possible, but more tentative. We use that pattern to talk about intentions with those verbs marked asterisk. Also, follow me, the verbs aim, agree not, expect, hope, intend, mean doesn't have an asterisk, plan, we use it in that sense, promise, propose, resolve, undertake, want. Some people, particularly in speech and in journalism, use be looking plus to infinitive to mean planning a course of action. For example, we're looking to create 3,000 jobs in the city over the next year. Let's go through section C now. When the phrases and verbs in sections A and B are used with the past tense forms, they're usually concerned with future events seen from the past. For example, it was his 64th birthday in 2006, and he was due to retire the following year. So we're considering the future from a point in the past. Another example, Nathan had resolved to become fluent in Spanish before he left university. Another example, the new management had been looking to create 20 new jobs. Again, we're referring to the future from a past point in a timeline. Okay, let's go now through section D. This is the last section of that exercise. Some people use shall and shan't instead of will and won't in statements about the future with I and we. However, it's more common to use will, particularly its contracted form will and won't. For example, he was a good friend and we shall miss him greatly. More commonly, he was a good friend and we will miss him greatly. Another example, I'm just going to buy a newspaper. I shan't be long. More commonly, I'm just going to buy a newspaper. I won't be long. In current English, we don't usually use shall forward slash shan't with other subjects to talk about the future, although this is found in formal rules and in other literary styles. For example, the match referee shall be the sole judge of fair play. Or another example, all people of the world shall live together as brothers. Okay, that's it for today. We've finished. We've gone through all the sections of that unit of that exercise where we talked about other ways of talking about the future. I hope you've enjoyed the lesson. Please subscribe to the channel, share the content with your friends, English learners, English students all over the world. It's really important to understand English grammar so you can understand the tenses, stories, articles, journals and stuff like that. I hope you've enjoyed. Give it a thumbs like, share the content and subscribe. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Cheers.